call the meeting to order. First part of the agenda, we normally recognize any groups or individuals that want to address the council on any matter that might not be on the agenda. Is there anyone here that needs to bring anything before the council that's not on the agenda? Okay. All right, then first item on the agenda then would be the phase 4 of the Big Spring subdivision. I'll let Jessica, you want to speak to that?
Yes, this is another phase of Big Springs development. It's out off of American Drive, there by the American Greetings factory. This request comes for 27 new single-family homes, water and sewer extension to be accepted into the city's utility infrastructure upon completion. The only thing that is a little bit different about this request is that upon reviewing our utilities in that area, the pump station that currently is there was not designed to handle this many phases of the growth that's occurred out there. And so therefore that station does not have capacity to serve this section of development, this phase, this 27 homes. So in going through analyzing this station, we have come up with an agreement, a letter of agreement that he would offset that infrastructure cost. We need to replace the station due to some age. But we're also going to evaluate the location and see what other areas that if we upgrade it and expand the capacity that is there, you know, how large we can make that, and then have basically a cost sharing for those upgrades for growth that we're doing at this time, rather than having replaced the station that's nearing its end of life and then they come back around in 2 years and have to replace it and upgrade it. So we're trying to be efficient with that work. And this second agreement letter you see is kind of how we've allocated those costs. It's all based on the amount that portion is taking up at that capacity. And once we get the facility designed, we will have real costs in hand and then have a true agreement written that we will enter into. But this was just the letter of agreement so that he can kind of move forward and get started on that development, and we can work simultaneously. So that way they can start work, you know, excavating and getting roads built. The only, especially now that there's not an active factory in American Greetings, that's buying us a little bit of time as well. So that's essentially what that is. While it's a little bit different than just a standard request.
What kind of time frame are you looking at?
Well, I met with a consultant yesterday, and we looked at the scope of what this project is going to be. They're working on getting a price together for me at this time. So we're going to hit the ground running, and as fast as the process allows me. Again, everybody's busy, so I'm sure they're not going to get to start on this, you know, tomorrow or anything, but hopefully in the upcoming weeks they're going to be working on the preliminary design for how large of a station we're looking at, and then we can start moving forward with actual construction design costs, you know, design plans, specs.
Did we have anything budgeted this fiscal year for
I
replacement?
did.
You did?
I did have money allocated in the budget for replacement.
But it wasn't an upgrade?
No, it wasn't an upgrade. So I feel like we'll be able to, if we fund initially this upgrade, we'll be able to be refunded back, you know, the growth that we've done. And again, be efficient for both the city's money and for the development communities.
So you don't think that, regardless of what, because you don't have a definite cost yet, so
No.
but they've all agreed that they're going to pay their fair share.
Yes, Phase 4 has agreed to pay their portion of that, and I was able to do it. It's just a straight percentage. If you're 10% of the capacity of the new station, you pay 10% of the construction cost. If it works out, we're able to make it even larger and you only go to 8%, then that's what you pay. So that's the only fair way I could think to do that. And that's
Just on the sewer side, or is that involved?
just on the sewer. Water infrastructure is okay. It's good.
So what we have to do is we have to vote to accept this into our system per Robin Mills' letter of request, correct?
Yes, for for Big Springs, because it's Build One is the actual request, Horizon on their behalf.
And then I think Councilwoman Hart is going to abstain, because she is related to the development.
Oh, okay.
There's no other questions, and I ask for a motion to approve the acceptance of Build One's request to develop the sewer for Big Spring subdivision phase 4.
So moved, Mayor.
Motion from Councilman Knowles, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Shekels, any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. All opposed? Okay, let the record show that Councilwoman Hart abstained. We've got, on the next item, we've got 32 COAs for HRB to address. So I thought I would move some of the street closures ahead of this, so we can knock some of those out pretty quick if you don't mind. So the first one I'd like to get to is the Arts and Craft Festival's request.
Sorry.
And Randy's here to,
Sorry, it's so small. You might
It's
have
okay,
to
we
be
have it on
glasses. Okay.
So we have it on
You
that.
want, okay. Might be easier if you want to say it that way then. Basically, for the street closures for the Arts and Crafts Festival, we are not changing anything from previous years, especially from last year. Everything will stay the same. The only difference that we are doing is that we will have booths up on the rec center's parking lot, but that's not going to be any extra street closure. So as far as the street closing, all the streets will be the same as last year, and we are recommending that we get the streets closed on Friday at 5, which was the same as last year as well.
and what about your food booths? Are they just going to be spread out and around? You won't have a food court?
Right, we're not going to do a food court. Everything will be dispersed like it was last year. We got really good feedback from that versus having it all in one spot. So a lot of the vendors actually liked it better.
And what about the petting zoo? Where's that going?
So this was approached to me by a company, I think they're out of Lexington, and I just wasn't sure of what the protocols were on it, or if there was something that I had to do, or if it was even acceptable. This is a company that will have like miniature sheep and turkeys and llamas and things like that are fully insured. So as far as insurance purposes, it's not something that I should have to take out extra insurance on. But I just wasn't sure if there was anything I needed to do, or if it was something that I needed an approval on.
They just need a permit, it looks like, right? I mean, our ordinance says you can't have livestock in the
Right.
city, except for certain circumstances. I think this could fall under
Ordinance
that.
ordinance provides for that to be part of a festival or a circus, if a circus were to come to town or whatever, so the ordinance,
Okay.
but they do need to apply for a permit.
It says from the city council instead of the clerk, so I don't know if it's like a specific, I guess it would be, I don't know if we had that come up, but I guess it would be a specific request back to city council, probably with like proof of their insurance and these
Okay.
kind of things.
Okay.
So,
So do I just need to have them get in contact with you all and get a permit, and then they'll follow up? Okay,
That's not
perfect.
part of what you're asking for, but I mean, you brought that up.
Right, I just didn't know there was something I had to do on my end. You know, it would be nice for the kids to have something like that, but I didn't want to, overstep any boundaries, so.
Any questions, any other questions about this? As Randy said, it's going to mimic last year's closures and basically encompass the same areas
Yes.
as it has in the past.
Anybody else want one? Good?
Okay, if there's no other questions, I'd ask for a motion then to approve the request from the Arts and Craft Festival for the October 12th and 13th closures and the use of the property that's been supplied to us with their map.
So moved, Mayor.
A motion by Councilman Williams and a second by Councilwoman Hart. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried.
And is that also for the 5 o'clock on Friday?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, thank you all.
The next one is the Tri-County United Way. We have 5K on September 21st. I think that's again, this one that we had in the past, and it's the same as previous years. Anybody have any questions on that? Their route's a little different. It doesn't start up here at City Hall or Xavier Drive. It starts at Civic Center, but most of it contained down in the Edgewood area of town and out the south side of Stephen Foster, so to speak. So,
It's actually a better route. They don't have to cross the state highway
right.
that way.
There's no other questions, and I would ask for a motion to approve the request from the Tri-County Kentucky United Way for their 5K street closures for September 21st.
So moved, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Hibbs, and a second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Buckman. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. And then the last one is the Craft Beer Festival for October 19th, request from Stephen Foster Drama Association. There's one correction on this. They're asking to close, Flagey. The actual time is from 5:30. It would be East Flagey. They put the time of the event in their letter. It was 6 to 10. The closure they would need is at 5 o'clock to 10:30, which is similar in the past year. They got set up their tables and their check-in stations and food trucks and so forth that they'll have out on Flash Day. So they need to do that 5 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock. They'll be out of there by 10:30. You can see it's between 3rd and 2nd Street on the East Flash Day Park. It's the same request we've had for the last 6 years prior.
I think wasn't there some concern about the banks being that last year that they were concerned?
Well, but it's not, they're not closing any of the street until 6 o'clock, until 5:30, or excuse me, 5 o'clock. So the banks
That's on
are
a
fine.
Saturday, not a Friday.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're okay. So, if I could, then I'd ask for a motion to approve the request from the Stephen Foster Drama Association for closure of East Flagey from 5 to 10:30 on October 19th. Motion by Councilman Hart, and a second.
Second.
Councilman Jones. Any other discussion?
I'm going to abstain on this one.
Okay. The record show Councilman Hibbs is abstaining. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. All right. Now we get back to the HRB, and we've got 32 COAs, and I think we have Councilman Buckman needs to recuse himself on several of those KMS properties. I think 11 of them are KMS properties. So, and Councilwoman Hart wants to abstain from item B. Is that it? Any other?
Not that I'm aware
Okay,
of.
she's just going to abstain, so she wouldn't have to leave Jerusalem. I guess Councilman Butler, won't we just have you recuse yourself and we'll take these up?
The KMS properties ones first? Or do you want me to read them all first, Mayor?
Well, we can read them all and then let you stand out when we get to it. Okay. That's fine. Sorry, Audrey, it's on you now.
take it away.
Summaries.
All right, COA 19-142, Rachel and Lance Blanford, applicants owners, request to install a black aluminum fencing and gate at 402 North 3rd Street. Recommendation approval to install a fence with the following conditions. Conditions: the final fence material design, privacy landscaping, and gate will be staff approved by the preservation coordinator. COA 19-143, Kevin and Jennifer Moore, applicants owners, request to replace the back door with an exact replica of what the front door looks like at 213 North 4th Street. Recommendation approval to install the proposed door. COA 19-144, St. Vincent de Paul Mission Store applicant, St. Joseph Proto Cathedral owner, request to install signs at 310 North 2nd Street. Recommendation approval to install the proposed signage. COA 19-145 Spalding Hall applicant, Archdiocese of Louisville owner, requests approval to reinstall the brick walkway at 114 North 5th Street. Recommendation approval to repair the walkway in kind. COA 19-146 West Banco applicant owner, requests approval to install a new roof at 315 North 3rd Street. Recommendation approval to install the proposed roof. COA 19-147 Bobby Roby applicant, Cozy House Restaurant and Lounge owner, requests to install a 6-foot wood dog ear fence to the property at 521 North 3rd Street. Recommendation approval to install the proposed fence. COA 19-148 Paul Blaine Hamilton applicant owner, requests to replace the roof at 119 West Stephen Foster Avenue with a white membrane roof. Recommendation approval to install the proposed roof with the following conditions. Conditions: the final flashing color will be staff approved. COA 19-151 Greg Ashworth applicant owner, requests to change the front door color at 213 East Flagey Avenue to black. Recommendation approval for the proposed door color. COA 19-152 Greg Ashworth applicant owner, requests to cover the front porch at 213 East Flagey Avenue. Recommendation approval for the proposed porch alteration. COA 19-153 Greg Ashworth applicant owner, requests to add wood shutters at 213 East Flagey Avenue. Recommendation approval for the proposed wood shutters. COA 19-154 Greg Ashworth applicant owner, requests to replace the roof at 213 East Flagey Avenue with a black roof. Recommendation approval to install the new roof as proposed. COA 19-131 KMS Properties applicant owner, requests to build a duplex at 204 and 206 South 1st Street. Recommendation approval to build the duplex with the alterations discussed in the meeting. COA 19-132 KMS Properties applicant owner, requests to install front, rear, and garage doors at 204 and 206 South 1st Street. Recommendation approval to install the proposed doors. COA 19-133 KMS Properties applicant owner, requests to install lighting at 204 and 206 South 1st Street. Recommendation approval to install the proposed lighting. COA 19-134 KMS Properties applicant owner, request to paint at 204 and 206 South 1st Street. Recommendation approval for the proposed paint colors. COA 19-135 KMS Properties applicant owner, request to install windows at 204 and 206 South 1st Street. Recommendation approval for the proposed windows. COA 19-136 KMS Properties applicant owner, request to install siding at 204 and 206 South 1st Street. Recommendation approval for the proposed siding. COA 19-137 KMS Properties applicant owner, request to install gutters at 204 and 206 South 1st Street. Recommendation approval for the proposed gutters. We've done too much. COA 19-138 KMS Properties applicant owner, request to install a roof at 204 and 206 South 1st Street. Recommendation approval for the proposed roof. COA 19-139 KMS Properties applicant owner, request to install a fence at 204 and 206 South 1st Street. Recommendation approval for the fence with the following conditions. Conditions: the final fence design, color, and material be staff approved by the preservation coordinator. COA 19-140 KMS Properties applicant owner, request to install a front porch at 204 and 206 South 1st Street. Recommendation approval to install the proposed porch with the following conditions. Conditions: the roof color for the porch will be staff approved by the preservation coordinator. COA 19-141 KMS Properties applicant owner, request to build the foundation at 204 and 206 South 1st Street. Recommendation approval for the proposed foundation. COA 19-155 David and Gail Hobbs applicants owners, request to build a new detached garage at 216 East Flagey Avenue. Recommendation approval to build the proposed detached garage. COA 19-156 David and Gail Hobbs applicants owners, request to install doors at 216 East Flagey Avenue. Recommendation approval to install the proposed doors. COA 19-157 David and Gail Hobbs applicants owners, request to paint at 216 East Flagey Avenue. Recommendation approval for the proposed paint colors. COA 19-158 David and Gail Hobbs applicants owners, request to install windows at 216 East Flagey Avenue. Recommendation approval to install windows with the following conditions. Conditions: the final design of the windows will be staff approved by the preservation coordinator. COA 19-159 David and Gail Hobbs applicants owners, request to install siding at 216 East Flagey Avenue. Recommendation approval for the proposed siding. COA 19-160 David and Gail Hobbs applicants owners, request to install a roof at 216 East Flagey Avenue. Recommendation approval for the proposed roof. COA 19-161 David and Gail Hobbs applicants owners, request to build a foundation at 216 East Flagey Avenue. Recommendation approval for the proposed foundation. COA 19-162 David and Gail Hobbs applicants owners, request to install lighting at 216 East Flagey Avenue. Recommendation, approval to install a proposed lighting. We got into double digits on some of those letters there.
Okay, let's see, I'm trying to think, we should probably take up all of these COAs, maybe with the exception, with Joe being here, we can take up all of them except COA 19-131 through 141. So, we'll take them up, and Joe recuses himself. So I'd ask for a motion then to approve.
Mayor, should we take up 143 separately since
Yeah.
Councilwoman Hart's going to abstain on that
We're
one
going
as
to do
well?
that as well. We'll exclude COA 19-143 and COAs 19-131 through 141 then. So then I would ask for a motion to approve the others as presented and read by the city attorney.
Motion to approve with the conditions set forth.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Williams. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion's carried. Okay, Joe, if you want to recuse.
Ready, quick.
Okay, then we need a motion then to approve COA 19-143 and COAs 19-131 through 141.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
We have a motion by Councilman Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hibbs. Any other discussion?
I'm sorry, did you include 143 in that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you, let the record show you're going to abstain. Well, she didn't have to abstain. We can exclude.
Yeah, let's do 143 last.
All right, we'll exclude COA 19-143 from this motion. So the motion should be COA 19-131 through 141. So that,
I'll make that motion again, Mayor,
Okay.
to approve COA 19-131 through 141.
I'll second that motion again.
the same motion, the second. Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion's carried. And then, I guess Councilman Buckman can come back.
Don't come down.
All right, the last one, we're going to ask for a motion then to approve COA 19-143.
I'll make that motion, Mayor, to approve COA -19-143 with conditions described therein.
I need a second.
Second.
For Councilman Buckman. Any other discussion? Let the record show that Councilwoman Hart is going to abstain from this vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion's carried. Thank you. All right. Everybody had a chance then to look over the minutes from our August 13th meeting. If there's no additions or corrections, we'll approve them by unanimous consent. All right. And then, we need to actually introduce this first reading for the code of, first reading of code of ordinances, B 2019-11. Need somebody to introduce that and have the city attorney read that one. It's regarding the supplement to the code of ordinances.
Mayor, if I may be in order, I'd like to introduce ordinance number B 2019-11, an ordinance enacting and adopting a supplement to the code of ordinance of the city of Bardstown and now by the city attorney.
Ordinance number B 2019-11, an ordinance enacting and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances of the City of Bardstown, Kentucky. Whereas American Legal Publishing Corporation of Cincinnati, Ohio has completed 2019 S22 supplement to the Code of Ordinances of the City of Bardstown, Kentucky, which supplement contains all ordinances of a general nature enacted since the prior supplement to the Code of Ordinances of this municipality, and whereas American Legal Publishing Corporation has recommended the revision or addition of certain sections of the Code of Ordinances which are based on or make references to sections of the Kentucky Revised Statutes, and whereas it is the intent of the council to accept these updated sections in accordance with the changes of the law of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Now therefore be it ordained by the City of Bardstown, Section 1, that the 2019 S-22 supplement to the Code of Ordinances of the City of Bardstown, Kentucky, as submitted by American Legal Publishing Corporation of Cincinnati and as attached hereto be, and the same is hereby adopted by reference as if set out in its entirety. Section 2, that this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its date of passage, approval, and publication as required by law.
As some of you know, this is something we have to do from time to time, to get the ordinances codified properly, and American Legal Publishing does that for us, so we have to approve this ordinance to bring our latest version up to date with the changes. Is that kind of described correctly?
Yeah, so basically, if any of our ordinances are referencing like old versions of Kentucky statutes or things like that, it's kind of correcting any of that, and then just codifying and getting everything into the format of, you know, your big like reddish brown binder. So this will give you a little pocket supplement that'll go in there to bring you up to speed on everything we've done through the end of last year. Is that right?
2016.
2016. Okay, so no, not even close. But we're getting there, right? It takes a while to get everything sort of all there. Not that the rest of them are not in force, but this is to get them codified. Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay, then I need a motion then to approve, or excuse me, this is the first reading, so we don't have to do any more on that. Okay. Another first reading, we did discuss the property tax rates at the last meeting, but we didn't actually read the particular ordinance that refers to the rate that we decided on, which was to keep the rate the same. So I need to introduce this and have the city attorney actually do a first reading of B 2019-12 as it relates to property tax rates. Need that introduced.
Mayor, if I may, I'd like to introduce ordinance number B 2019-12, an ordinance amending and adopting tax levy for the city of Bardstown.
We'd ask the city attorney to read it.
And ask the city attorney to read it. Read the summary, please.
Ordinance number B 2019-12, an ordinance amending and adopting as amended an ordinance style, an ordinance levying tax on property subject to tax in the city of Bardstown, fixing rates thereon and designating the funds and purposes for which expenditures are authorized for the fiscal year July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020. The City Council of the City of Bardstown, Kentucky does hereby ordain as follows. Number 1, that there be and hereby is levied the sum of $0.1794 cents, I guess it is, on each $100 of real property subject to taxation, the sum of $0.1790 cents on each $100 of personal property subject to taxation, and the sum of 24 cents on each $100 of motor vehicle and watercraft subject to taxation in the city of Bardstown for the fiscal year July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020. All monies hereinafter collected for taxes due for the year 2019 through 2020 and all years prior thereto shall be allocated to the general fund for the general expenses of city government, including but not limited to recreation, police and fire protection, general government, and the maintenance of streets and highways. Collection of property tax bills of $10 or less may be waived by the chief financial officer. All taxpayers whose taxes are not paid by the last day of October or by the 30th day after the mailing of the tax bill, whichever is later, shall pay a penalty of 10% of the amount of taxes due and unpaid, and in addition thereof shall pay interest on the unpaid taxes at the rate of 1% per month or part thereof until paid. A 2% convenience fee is levied on any credit card transaction payment of property tax bills. This ordinance shall be in full force upon its publication, and all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict are hereby repealed to the extent of that conflict.
Okay, this is a first reading, and then we'll have a public hearing September 9th, or excuse me, 10th. At 5:50 before our meeting. That'll all be publicized, but we'll have a hearing, and then we'll have an actual second vote on the second reading that night on both of these ordinances. But the hearing will be about the tax ordinance. Okay. Any other reports from staff or committees? We didn't cover?
Sure, I don't have
We have a municipal for the number M2019-05. Have that read again.
We don't have to, we
Okay.
can just
We
make
can
it
walk
clear what
through
the
it.
change is, Mayor.
All right, if you don't mind.
So the only change to this municipal order which we adopted, we're not required to read municipal orders. I certainly can if everyone would sit here, but the only changes is that we are changing the time of the electric and cable committee meeting back 30 minutes from 5 o'clock to 4:30. So it still is going to remain on the second Tuesday of January, April, July, and October. So there's only one left, I guess, for the year at this point. But it will be at 4:30. Same location, nothing else. Nothing else changes.
That was our changing the time of these meetings, okay? Just FYI on that. Any council members have anything to bring before the council?
Mayor, I'd like to thank the city and our council here for all the support they've given us through our Abundant Days Festival, our 25th anniversary. It was very successful. The weather was perfect, and we had a lot of good participation from local people with the support. And I'd like to thank the Public Works Department, our Electric Department, our Police Department, our Fire Department, all the other city workers that can't be seen, as well as the council for the approval of Bruce Street closings and the donation request that we asked for. It was a very successful week.
Great event for the community, and the town was busy, and the hotels were busy, and a lot of places were busy.
Restaurant, bigger store. It was a good weekend. Every now and then we're blessed with, every 4 or 5 years, we're blessed with a nice weekend where it's not smoldering hot like it had been. It's just beautiful weather-wise.
Food was excellent.
Tremendous crowd from out of town. Everybody likes to come to watch.
Thank you all, and thank you all for your groups doing this for 25 years.
Well, we do it for the right reason, so it brings a lot of good people together.
Yeah, it's a great event for the community. Okay, any other councilman got anything? No one else have anything? The only other thing I thought I'd just bring before you is that we got that, I don't know what version of the proposal we got from Deidre Haycraft about the extended hours she sent out several weeks ago. And I haven't had any councilman or woman come to me that wanted to sponsor that measure to a vote for the 5 days that I think they chose. I think it was 2 days on Bourbon Festival, 1 day for the Turkey Kick, which is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, 1 day for New Year's Eve, and then whatever Saturday that's the Bourbon Street concert on. Those are the 5 days that they requested. But I haven't seen any council members ask me to bring that up, put it up for a vote or anything. So if it's not got any really support, we could let it die for lack of a sponsor. Looks like that's the general consensus of the council. Leave the times as they are and not change for these 5 days. We'll have to take that up any longer. All right, we got one cemetery deed for Tanya Maddox for one grave site. Do that by unanimous consent. As far as announcements, just a reminder, we'll have that public hearing at 5:50 before the September 9th meeting. I will be absent that night, so you'll have to elect someone to preside. So, former Mayor Shekels usually does a good job presiding, so leave that up to you guys. I'll be out of town today, so if there's nothing else.
So I do a vote for the municipal order.
What's that?
Sorry. We just have to vote on it.
Oh, I'm sorry. But y'all keep me straight. Super.
I'm glad Gary's paying attention.
You said we didn't need to read it.
We don't need to read it.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, okay, okay. I need a motion then to approve municipal order number N 2019-05 as it relates to the time change for the electric cable committee meeting from 5 o'clock to 4:30 on the times.
So moved.
Okay, now a motion by Councilman Jones and a second by Councilman Williams. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. Put me straight on that. Now, do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Second, Councilman Butler, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah.